Hi, everybody. Welcome back to the Who's Your Band podcast. Today, we welcome two outstanding guests. We have singer-songwriter Robert Tepper and comic extraordinaire from Las Vegas, James Mattern. How are you, gentlemen?
What up?
All right.
James, a comedian. I love it.
Yeah.
Can't win them all, brother. Can't win them all.
No, I like it.
We're all comics, actually, Robert.
Right.
We're just two comics who love music, so that's why we're doing it.
I get it. No, I got a lot of friends who are comics.
Nice.
Most depressed people I know. I'm kidding.
Pretty much.
You're not wrong, sir. Let's just be real blunt about that. You don't have to add, I'm kidding. It's some truthful shit. Yeah.
Is it okay? All right. Sounds good.
Hey, Robert, you're from Bayonne originally?
Bayonne, New Jersey, man. 2.5 miles of no, you don't. You can't.
Yes.
You want to do this? No, you can't.
Did you go to high school out in Bayonne?
Bayonne High School, man.
You went to Bayonne High School on Kennedy Boulevard.
Oh my God. Well, actually, when I went, was it Kennedy? I thought it was on Avenue C.
It's on Avenue A.
Avenue A. There you go. I was close though. Not bad for a guy with not all his faculties. That's pretty good.
Let me tell you something about Bayonne, okay? I produced the roast for Chuck Wepner.
Yeah.
Wow.
About 5 months ago.
The Bayonne Bleeder.
Oh, yeah.
Is he still alive?
He's 80 years old. He's got all his faculties, and he's a great human being. And I said to him bluntly, I said, listen, I love you dearly, but I can't wait for you to die so I could be the most famous person from Bayonne. And then I find out that you're from Bayonne, and now you just pissed me off.
I apologize, man. Don't worry, I'm pretty close myself. I'm going to be 70 on tomorrow.
You look great.
Oh, happy birthday, man.
Thank you.
I got a question for you, Robert.
Yeah.
You wrote one of my all-time favorite songs. You wrote Into the Night with Benny Mardones, The Voice. Love this guy. How did that come about, and what is that song about?
Okay, let's see. That song came about in some kind of drug-crazy evening up in New York City. I was living on 94th. Benny was on 154th. We were the Toxic Brothers. We were up there taking and eating anything we possibly can and getting ready for his Polygram record. And we started writing this song, man, Into the Night. And I met Benny in New York City, and we got together and we started writing. And he had done Thank God for Girls, which was and then he just signed to Polygram, and this was his new record. And he brought me in, man. I don't even know why. I was nobody. And we met at this place, and he said, well, let's get together and write. And I said, okay. I mean, I was as green as the day is long, but we got together and started writing. And, that song, that stuck. That one stuck a couple of times.
Was that one of the first songs you ever wrote?
No. I had a hit with Paul Anka. Anybody remember Paul Anka, or
Sure.
You're all too young?
Saw it twice last year.
You saw, okay. So Paul Anka was like, he wrote the Tonight Show theme. Paul Anka was like this guy. Yeah, he was kind of my way, your way, kind of little mafioso kind of, dude. And he was like, he had the Napoleon thing going. He was really short, and like that was the first hit. I wrote it with this girl, Madeline Sunshine, who's still a dear friend of mine. And he recorded that song. I was working for Cam America. That was one of my first jobs working for a publisher. And he picked up on it. And that was a top 20 hit for me. First time I ever got a taste of anything.
Can you imagine if somebody put out Into the Night right now?
They do, man.
And the first line.
It's a hard song to cover because no one could sing it the way Benny did. This guy had pipes of fucking gold.
Oh my God. Benny is the voice. They don't call him the voice for no reason.
That's right.
And it's so funny, man. You with the hat backwards. What's your first name?
Jeff.
So I got a friend, Mike Bishop. He's your doppelganger, okay? He's like, he's a guitar player. He's in New York City, works sound on MSNBC. My Jersey accent just went from about 15 to about 85 listening to you, okay? It's going to be thick.
Is he as good looking as me?
Nah, man, you're an ugly fuck. Are you kidding me? No.
Thank you.
Yeah. Now, you just made Sean Morton's day, by the way.
Nothing can go wrong today, Robert. Nothing.
I am so glad I agreed to be on this. This is the
Why not?
greatest ever.
No, come on. Hit me with some comedy. I'm loving it. I love nobody. You don't have a better audience than me. I love comedy.
All right, then we got. What did you think of Rocky's speech at the end of Rocky 4?
Which one? Remind me. Which one? You can't
I
do
could
it, Rocky.
change.
That one.
If you can change, then I can change. Then we all can change.
You know something? Look, I was a lucky motherfucker, man. I got to be part of a franchise, right? I mean, it's like being part of the Bayonne Library. Okay, New York City Library, a little better. And, you know, I got my card. He loved that song. He put me in the movie. I don't know every line. I don't know every verse. All I know is that people hooked into that movie like it was pure liquid heroin. Okay.
It's a great movie.
Yeah,
Oh, yeah.
It is a great movie. And so many movies derive from it still, you know, and especially people are just so down with it. And it's great. Yeah. But I don't know every word of dialogue. I'm not that guy. I got a life.
I'm that guy.
That's good. That's
I'm
good.
that guy.
There's got to be those guys like that have these shows. I love it.
Oh yeah. Lord knows we don't have comedy to do, so might as well watch Rocky 4 13 times.
I hear you. In the quarantine Rocky 4 watchers. I like it.
Killing me.
Robert,
But-
how
That speech is so wonderfully ridiculous.
What's that?
Oh, yeah. The speech is so wonderfully ridiculous that he says it's a bunch of
go ahead.
people stuck in a communist dictatorship. If you change, you can change. Oh, motherfucker, we're just people at a boxing match. We can't change the government right now. I don't know if you've been reading the news, but thanks. One day, maybe. When the Scorpions put out that song, we'll change.
I'm sure whatever they were thinking, I was thinking the other way. Okay, that's my kind of thing.
You got to remember that was also before the Berlin Wall came down, and so you still.
That's right. Oh my God,
that's the Cold War.
That's an excellent point. That is an excellent point. That people that was the symbol of. Yeah, I mean, Russia still was in such dominance back then and had so many satellite countries before it was about to disintegrate and turn into the mafioso place it is today. You know,
Robert, how the heck did you wind up in Iron Butterfly?
So here's what happened, right? I am, you know, when you come from Jersey, right? You know, I played in mafia places. Everything's always a little shady. You know what I mean? Everything's always a little scammy. Everything, you know, after you shake somebody's hand from the East Coast, you count your fingers. You know what I mean? It's always that kind of thing. You know?
I'm from Staten Island. Sean is from Bayonne. We know exactly what you're
Same
talking
thing.
about.
First place I ever drank was in Staten Island, okay? I could barely crawl over the bridge, but I lived in Bayonne and I played in clubs in Staten Island. So, okay, so just, well, I spaced. I spaced. So I'm old tomorrow. So what was the question? What did you want to know?
How the heck did you wind up in Iron Butterfly?
Iron Butterfly. Okay, I blocked that out. So there was this guy. This guy is always a guy, right? I get a call. I'm in upstate New York. Pretty much feel like my career is like, you know, flannel had come in. Nobody's really listening to AOR rock anymore, you know? Mm-hmm. I'm upstate. I'm on George Sickle Road in Woodstock, New York. Okay, you can hit a golf ball in any direction. And I get a call from this guy. This what was Steve's last name? I'll think of it. And this guy goes, "Hey, you know, I'm putting together." And I don't know if you guys remember this. You're probably too young. I know you probably are. But at some point in like the 90s, they started putting together bands with different lead singers. You know, there was like Bad Company. You know, it wasn't with Paul Rogers. They had, you know, I think I saw them at the Hard Rock or something, but they were putting stuff together. So this was some guy's dream. He had some money and he said, "I want to put Iron Butterfly back together." And I get a call and they said, "You know, we want you to come in and sing and da-da-da-da-da." So I get flown out to LA and, you know, the band's okay, but little did I know this guy had no legal right to the name Iron Butterfly. Okay, nothing. All right, but you know, it's like all of a sudden we're practicing and this guy's coming in with like tashikis on and little things covering their mouth. This guy's raising money, you know, and, you know, so far he's paying the bills and, you know, we're rehearsing. We're in a pretty nice studio and, you know, John Cafferty's in the studio down the hall and the whole thing turns to absolute crap when the bottom falls out. The guy, I don't know where he is. Okay, the FBI is looking for him.
Wow.
And this turns out to be my AOR record. They put my name on it, and we put it out in Europe. And it had No Rest for the Wounded Heart. It had Always Knocking on the Wrong Door. There's some really good tunes. I met Derek Hilland, who played with Rick Springfield. Kenny Suarez, great drummer. Two of those guys are dead. One drank himself to death. The other might have OD'd. It was a rock and roll experience. I was up for it. I don't mean to laugh. Look,
I have a great Iron Butterfly story.
Let me hear.
Bet you never thought you'd hear those words coming out of my mouth.
No,
right?
no.
I think you even knew who Iron Butterfly was.
So there's a strip club here in New Jersey called Hot 22, which is on Route 22. So whenever you have a bachelor party, you can go there. Now, It's a juice bar, so the girls are all nude. And what they do is when you have the bachelor, they have a thing called the treatment. So the treatment is they give you 3 songs. And they bring the bachelor on stage. The girls take his belt off. They whip him with it. They beat the shit out of him, all this stuff. So I'm in charge of picking the songs. And my friend Joe says to me, because it was his bachelor party, I have one song request. And I said, what's that? He goes, Inagata Davida. And I go, why? I go, why? He goes, it's 13 minutes long. I want to get my fucking money's worth.
Very funny. Very clever.
Rob, did you wind up touring?
What's that?
Did you wind up touring with Iron Butterfly?
I never actually did the tour. The thing was, like I said, it was truly a house of cards. The guy never really had clearance for anything. So some of the original singer from Iron Butterfly, and we had some, I brought in some good people. We had Timmy Landers, who played on No Easy Way Out, right? He came in and produced. I mean, we spent some money on that record, but this guy never paid his bills, man. And we never made it out of, I thought we made a pretty decent record, but we never really got it off the ground as far as touring. Never happened,
Here's my question. If you would have toured with them for Inagata Davida, who would have played the drill solo? Like, who just do you put down your instrument and grab a fucking drill? Like,
that's right. And you do the. We actually did a version of Inagata Davida, and I have no idea where it is, but my voice is on it somewhere.
Oh, please, you got to find that.
I have no idea. You know what? There's certain things. I'm not going to go take a Picasso painting and go and make a copy of some very famous painting. I'm not going to do it.
If you ever want to,
won't do that.
If you ever want to do that song on Zoom, though, I would love to play the drill solo.
Oh,
it's
the
been
drum
a dream
solo.
of mine. I'm around, dog. I'm around.
Hey, I got the guitar behind me. We can start it right now.
Perfect. Yeah, that's nice. What do you got back there? You got a lot of shit back
there. I got a couple. I got a couple Washburns. I got an ESP. Got an Ovation.
Nice. The ESP. How do you like the ESP? I like those.
Love it.
The only problem with those, you know who owns that company?
No.
The guy who runs Musicians Institute. It's like the Chinese mafia or the Japanese mafia.
It's not a mafia references in this episode.
Yeah,
so far, Robert.
You know what? I grew up in New Jersey, man. I played in clubs for years.
Staten Island,
right?
And Bay Ridge. Don't slip that out.
Right.
A resident of Bay Ridge.
It's
all mobbed up, dog.
That's right. We're all mobbed up. I'm a made
it.
guy. I'm not a made guy. Thank God.
Robert, now Stallone must have really taken a liking to you, because doesn't he also put another one of your songs on the Great Cobra soundtrack?
Yes, he did. So here's what happened. So we have the MTV weekend when Rocky IV comes out. I mean, I'm with my second wife, my Swedish wife. We're at the Westwood Marquee. It's like, Grace Jones is there and Dolph Lundgren, and it's a big deal. We're in Westwood, LA. So that did really well. So the next movie, he goes, I want to do it again, man. I want to do it again. And you could tell there wasn't a great amount of fanfare around Cobra. I remember I go with my wife and we go to Times Square and I go see it. And I come out and I said, is it my imagination or that just wasn't very good, you know? And
You're the,
you know,
you're
who,
you're the disease. I'm the cure.
exactly. But that's it. You know what I mean? It's Stallone. So the disease starts to get into people's bones, and people who love him, right? People who love him just go crazy for him. It becomes like a cult classic, right?
Exactly.
And I go to, what was I doing? I was in Sheffield, England, I think, or was I did a big show there, like not maybe 5 years ago, and I didn't play Angel of the City, and people were fucking pissed, man. They were like angry, you know, because I'm an old man. I had no idea. I mean, it's since Twitter and all that stuff. Now I see people really appreciate that song, but I had no idea that they loved it. You know, they really liked it. So, you know, I include it every time now. So, but that's, I had a weird feeling when I came out of Cobra. I was like, I don't know. I mean, did that work? You know, and nobody knew who Bridget Nielsen is. This is like you know, you grab it. Are you married? You married?
Yes, I'm married.
Okay, you're married. So it's like you trying to impress your wife. I'm going to put you in a movie, right? He actually did it, you know?
Right.
And, you know, I met her for the first time. Wow, did she turn out to be a weirdo, huh? Wow,
Yeah.
so crazy. So I met her the first time at the Rocky Four. At the Rocky Four, we had dinner after with her, Tony Curtis, me, Rob Lowe, me from Bayonne, New Jersey, young little guy, green as fucking can be. Me, I'm at the table with all these heavy hitters. I'm like, ugh. And now I'm in Cobra, you know? But even with my limited intelligence, being from Bayonne, you can only be so smart, you know? Even with my limited intelligence, I knew that was not the movie that Rocky IV was, you know?
No,
but
a great scene, though.
But it lived. It lived.
No, and it had a pretty good soundtrack. I mean, Angel of the City. But also, do you remember the song "Feel the Heat"?
Feel the Heat. Who was that by?
I think it was Jean Beauvoir.
Oh, Jean Beauvoir. Of course, that was a big hit for him.
And he was in the Plasmatics. Am I right about that?
Jean Beauvoir is still, because I was supposed to do, because of the new record I did, and I'm not trying to switch the conversation because I'm fine. What do you got to do? I got nothing to do. We can talk all afternoon.
We're here to talk, baby.
We're here to talk. And as you can tell, I'm very shy. But John is out there, man. John was in the middle of a big American tour now. And, you know,
Does he still have the
we met a couple of times. Yeah, he's great. He is really good.
Yeah, I remember that because at the time I was working for the record label. And I remember
what record label?
I worked A&R for CBS Records. I worked on the 11th.
Who was your boss? Was Larry Stessel your boss?
My boss was Pete Lapaki, but I worked on the same floor as Walter Yetnikoff.
Walter Yetnikoff.
And I was very, very tight with the secretary.
Being. What's that?
I was very, very tight with his secretary.
Very cool. I bet you were.
I'd like to go on record and say that I was not born and raised in Bayonne, New Jersey.
That
I only moved here when I was 17.
Every day that you were. That's good.
I'm a Union City boy. Thank you.
Union City? There's only one place worse.
I know.
There's only one place worse. It's Union City. That's hilarious. Oh my God. I played in Union City when I'm 16 years old, okay? I'm playing in Union City, and literally, okay, there's a spot. Well, you've been there, right? There's like the center of town. It's all clubs, okay? Yeah. And I'm playing in this bar, okay? And there's so many stories. You remember Frankie DePaulo? Does the Bayonne guy remember Frankie DePaulo?
No.
Frankie DePaulo was fighting for the middleweight championship of the world, okay? His manager owned this place we were playing in. And I'm flirting with this go-go dancer, like for weeks and months we're playing there. And guess who Frankie DePaulo's girlfriend is?
Oh, buddy.
Go-go dancer.
Yeah. What am I, out of my fucking mind? What am I, nuts? So we're at this club. I want to say it was the Choo Choo Club, but that sounds too easy. There's another club. Red Fox is there, right? Doing comedy. Then there's another club, Dr. Hook is playing there, okay? This is in Jersey, man. This is like, I mean, it was all clubs. you did 5 sets. It was crazy. It was crazy. It was great.
That was a hopping area in like the 60s and
It
70s.
was, man. It
Avenue.
really was, because if you wanted to play, you played down the Jersey Shore. You know what I mean? Or you played in Union City. You played in New York at the clubs. But New York was tough for us Jersey kids. We, probably weren't old enough. You had to be 21 to drink, and Anyway, I digress. I'm sorry. I got a lot of memories. I'm old.
How old were you when you put out your first record?
First record, I lied. I was probably 33 or 34. I told everybody, I had a big interview in People magazine. I'm living in New York City on 94th Street with my family. Told the girl from People magazine, it was either us or People. I'm down the Village. I told her we met at a bar in Midtown. And I told her I have no kids. I'm not married, nothing, right? I'm down in Soho with my kid. I walk into the big store. Remember the big store? They got oversized everything. And there she is, goes, I thought you didn't have any kids. I thought you weren't married. I go, oh, fuck you. Who cares? It was like, So I was like 33, 34. I was probably telling everybody I had a baby face, 25, 26,
Okay. That's pretty cool.
Okay. Robert, who do you listen to now?
I listen to a lot of stuff. Okay. First of all, I have 5 boys, right? 3 grandchildren. So a lot of music comes across here, let's see. You don't want to put on a spot like that. It's like, I listen to a lot of producers too. People, like, Greg Kirsten makes some great albums. I like Beck Colors, Beck's album Colors.
Oh yeah, that's amazing.
I really think that's like a brilliant record. What else am I listening to? God, I mean, I listen to so many things because I mix, so I reference a lot of music. You know what I mean? Things that are out today, Fall Out Boy. I listen to Dave Grohl. I listen to, I want to hear like the modern, modern sound. And even those guys are getting old, But the last bit, what band I really like, and I'm going to space on their name right now. They're like, this guy's voice is so good. And guess what? He's from Jersey. I will think of it in a second. It's kind of folky. It's almost a little like REM-y, I'll think of it. Can't think of it right now. But
Gaslight Anthem?
So what is it?
The Gaslight Anthem?
Not Gaslight Anthem.
That's one of my favorites.
Hold on one second. I'm gonna text. I'll text my son. He'll tell me.
Okay.
Nah, fuck it. Let's see.
So I like Chemical Romance. I hope that's the Jersey band you love.
Chemical Romance is a great band.
Great.
I really like the Kill. I really like the Killers. I think there's a ton of 80s in the Killers.
Oh, absolutely.
My old bass player. Swear to God. My old bass player is their bass player.
They're from Vegas, right? They're from Vegas.
Right? Mark was in my band back in the day.
I think he what's the song? The Man, that album. What's the other one on there? There's another song on there that's really
so
great.
Dope. The Man. I used to come out to it when I did warm up.
Oh, okay. So
I felt like a wrestler. I felt like WrestleMania 3.
That's right. They're really good. They're really good.
James, you just mentioned
Undercover. It was Undercover. Fucking great record.
You mentioned Beck before. I was always like a Beck fan of like the hits. And then the Colors album came out, and I went down to Philadelphia to see them. And I'm telling you, I'd never seen them before. And honestly, I very rarely get blown away when I see an artist for the first time.
Right.
I got every record after I saw that concert.
No, he's amazing.
And did a crazy version of Raspberry Beret by Prince.
Oh, wow. What a great song, right? What a fantastic song.
It was one of the best concerts I ever went to. And it was one of those like 6-minute, $10 concert tickets, and blew me away.
Isn't that something? I mean, it's like there's so much good music out there. What else have I been listening to?
Have you been going back listening to some of the classics?
I'm always listening to, because again, the concept of the 80s record that I kind of, that we did, better than the rest. We were influenced by what we loved. So yeah, we were back listening to everything. Oh my God, we listened to Van Halen. We were listening to, Billy Squire. You know, I was listening to. I mean, when you think about that time period, right? Those engineers were motherfuckers, man. Guys who made the Billy Idol records and the guys who made, you know,
Mutt Lang and Ted.
Mutt Lang.
and all
Mutt
those
Lang's
guys.
one of my all-time heroes.
Yeah.
Man. One of my all-time heroes. And I dare you to go on the internet and find shit about him. It's almost impossible, right? There's not much on him. I mean, Mike Shipley does most of his engineering, but it must be some experience making a record with that guy, you know? Like the Bryan Adams album. I love that Bryan Adams album that he produced, you know, I know you're righteous, baby. Don't you know there will never be another tonight?
That's a great
song.
song.
There will never be another. Such great songs on that record. Love it.
A little bit of that raspy Ryan.
Oh, you kidding?
Yeah.
I got the Buick right in my throat right now, especially now, man. I'm like, phew, we're bunkered down here. But let's not talk about it. It's so depressing.
It
So
is.
fucked up.
You know, can I just say that I love Mutt Lang because I hate to use the term guilty pleasure, but when I get asked that, I love 80s Def Leppard. I think that the
How can you not love Def Leppard? How could you not love Def Leppard?
But I love the fact that
that's not a guilty pleasure. I got to tell you, there are facets of Def Leppard on my record. There are facets of Duran Duran. There's facets of some of the synth music that was out in the 80s. There was so much great stuff. We came up at a blessed time, man. Well, I did. I don't know. You guys.
I love them.
Same with you.
First video I ever saw was Photograph. I still listen to it and get emotional. And I love the fact that the producer's name is Mutt and he doesn't drink. A dude named Mutt who doesn't drink? That's
oh my God.
That's scarier than anyone you met in Bayonne. That's all I'm saying, dog. That's all
Absolutely. No, Mutt is like, I can't wait. Someone's going to do a documentary on that dude if they're able to, okay? Because look, I am always looking at what producers do, right? Because I produced my record with me and Pablo produced it, you know? And it's like, Mutt is like the genius of, he writes, right? He sings. A lot of those backgrounds are him, right? I mean, you know, he's awesome, man. He makes
and he's
amazing.
got a hot wife on top.
And you know what's the best? What's the best? One of the best records he ever did. It's a trick question, but
Back in Black.
Which one?
I think
Back in Black.
He did Back in Black.
I'd say Shania Twain's. I'd say Shania Twain's record.
How about You Might Think by the Cars?
Oh, that's great.
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't realize
what
that.
an amazing record, right?
Right.
Anyway, I listen to everything. I listen to everything.
And you gotta remember too, when he did Shania's record, I mean, The Woman in Me is probably one of the biggest records of all time.
Absolutely. And those are great records. I listen to them. Yeah, anything he has anything to do with. And plus, you know who his guitar player is on most of that stuff was Dan Huff, who was on No Easy Way Out. And you know, when he came to town, I think I was like one of the first records he played on. You know?
That's great.
Are you tired of the old man stories yet? I got a million.
Not at all.
No, not at all. No, it's been so
Let me
many
know.
years since No Easy Way Out, and it never gets old. Like, I think that's the better Rocky song than Eye of the Tiger.
I agree.
Okay, thank you.
Absolutely.
What did you think? What did you think of the cover version that came out a few years ago by Bullet for My Valentine?
I thought, look, you know, I mean, you're gonna put this out and stuff like that. It's great. It's all great for me. You know, who the fuck am I? Who am I? You know, I just wrote it and sang it. Okay, but they didn't change it that much.
No, they really didn't.
It's like for me, I did a version. I don't know if I have a friend, Brad Brooks, who's a really great singer from San Francisco, and there's a whole alternative scene up there. So he asked me to do a radio show with him up there, I don't know, a number of years ago, maybe 5-6 years ago. And we did a version with a string quartet and his band. And that's more different than any version I've ever heard. You know what I mean? It's like, why cover a song? You know, no one's going to do it better than the original. You know what I mean? Because it just kind of happens, you know? Yeah. And it moves on. It's not a braggy thing. It's just, it got created. It became what it was. It becomes the standard. If you're going to do it, at least do it, you know, and I didn't feel it was that different, although I was very happy they did it, you know?
Yeah, it is pretty much formulaic. Like they really didn't change anything to it. But when I saw that, it blew me away because they're one of those bands too that They're not super gigantic, but they're very big in the metal community.
Absolutely.
And a lot of people, I guess, found, like a lot of younger kids found that song through them.
Yes, absolutely. And that's all great for me. My 18-year-old, you know, smoking better pot than he would be, you know, smoking. So I'm sorry, I had that one. I got to use that one. I love that.
That's
one.
awesome.
Now we also we have another guest with us today. Also, we have James Mattern. He's a comic from Vegas, also in Brooklyn, and his band. Robert, you familiar with Soundgarden?
Fuck yeah! Are you kidding? That drummer is amazing.
Matt Cameron.
You kidding? And Soundgarden was like, you know, I mean, I just thought that whole thing was awesome, because you got to remember, I have kids who, you know, one of them's been with me for the whole quarantine. I could tell you the whole story behind that, but I won't. I'll spare you right now. And so, you know, I have a 43-year-old, 41-year-old, 32-year-old, 20-year-old, and 10-year-old. So my 43-year-old, I mean, I knew about Pearl Jam. You know, they were in a band called The Natural History. I mean, I got a whole house full of musicians here. It's been crazy, you know.
And Matt Cameron wound up playing drums for Soundgarden, to Pearl Jam too, right?
Yeah.
What an amazing drummers they had, right?
Was he Pearl Jam and then into Soundgarden, or vice versa?
I think it was
Temple of the
Pearl
Dog.
Jam first.
Well, no, he was with Soundgarden, and then they did Temple of the Dog, and then Pearl Jam. People forget he's been in the band like 2 decades. They went through drummers like Spinal Tap, and finally,
oh my gosh,
like,
that's right.
So Matt, get in here. Soundgarden was on a long hiatus. They'd broken up, and you know, when Soundgarden got back together, Matt was still in both bands. And the last time I saw Soundgarden, he wasn't drumming because he was with Pearl Jam.
Now
Matt Chamberlain.
The constants in Soundgarden were always Chris Cornell and the guitarist Kim Thale.
Exactly.
Kim Thale, yeah.
Right. I mean,
what a sad story, man.
Heartbreaking.
You know, just it's so crazy to me. You know, it's like you know, like I didn't have like the rocket career. You know, I mean, I did okay. People who know me, but it's like you look at these people like Prince and like Soundgarden and bands like that. It's like it eats people up and spits them the fuck out. You know what I mean? It just like, it's really sad when you see shit like that. It's you know, and Tom Petty, you know, fucking, we were watching because we were watching Running Down a Dream last night, you know. It's like, what a great career this guy had, you know, and he fucking dies. He pretty much OD'd, you know. I mean, you know, so fucked up, man.
I was out in LA when right when Cornell died.
Right.
And I was at the cemetery when they did the memorial for him.
Oh, really?
And it was one of the most surreal experiences. You just had hundreds of fans. There were some musicians down there just all sitting around playing music. Everybody's crying. Right. They're just toasting him, drinking beers, playing guitars, doing his songs. One of the most amazing things I ever saw.
Yeah.
Really,
you know, because you have to me, don't you? I don't know how you guys feel, but the Chris Cornell voice, you know, I love Eddie Vedder, you know, I really do. But the Chris Cornell voice was kind of more of like coming from the 80s into what they were doing.
Sure.
You know what I mean? He had the muscle to sing anything he wanted to, you know.
One of the purest voices, I mean, ever in rock.
Absolutely.
Rob,
absolutely. I loved his voice.
Would you put him up there when you say guys who I think could sing anything? Would you put him up there with Paul Rodgers?
No, man, you can't fucking do that. You can't do that. The Paul Carrick, Paul Rodgers, Paul Young, all the Pauls. You can't touch the Pauls, man.
Anyone Paul?
Peter, Paul, and Mary, kidding. But, you know,
Paul Stanley.
Those guys, nobody was doing
Paul
that.
Stanley.
You know, Paul
Stanley.
Have it on fire, bro. Have it on fire.
Paul Stanley, I got my Paul Stanley story. You tell me when you want to hear it. But
we want to hear it now.
Right now, Robert.
Hear it now?
Right now.
All right. I never thought Paul Stanley was a great singer at all. Okay? Well. Never. Okay? But the band concept. So let's start at the very, very beginning. I was never a huge Kiss fan. Excuse me. I'm at Tracks on 79th Street between Columbus Avenue and Amsterdam. And this is a place where I would get wasted and go to a lot. And I saw a ton of people there from, from Carly Simon to Desmond Child and Rouge to who else? Oh, John Belushi and Gilda Radner and George Harrison was there. And you would just go down there and people were there. Okay. You just would go. And if you lived in New York, it was like, all right, I'm going down the tracks. Right. So one night I'm in there and I hear this band and they don't have any makeup on or anything. And they're playing, they sound like a Bad Stones cover band. Okay. Like a Bad Stones cover band. And I go outside to have a cigarette and I'm standing in front and all of a sudden this guy, Bill LaCoin, comes outside and starts. So he goes, so what, I said, what'd you think? He goes, well, I'm the manager. I go, really? I said, I don't hear it, man. I really don't. I don't hear it. So that was my original.
Is this before the first album?
No, this is before the first record. There's no album yet. Okay. So then years go by. They're doing great. And I'm hanging at a place called Tracks in New York, right uptown on the west side. And I see Paul every now and then, but Paul's not a big hanger outer, man. He's like a really like kind of a nice guy, and I was not a nice guy. I was like kind of a drug addict. So, and we're hanging out and all of a sudden, his people are talking to my people. We go and have a dinner. I had no easy way out. Do you want to write with Paul? I was like, what am I, I'm not thinking clearly. Like if I was the same person, I should have said, yes, I want to write his whole next album, but I didn't. Okay. We had dinner, we go out. And so we're kind of friendly. And so MTV Awards come up, we go to the MTV Awards and I had made a plan with Paul that I was going to go over to his place on the east side. And we were going to take a limo over to the Hard Rock Cafe. I mean, does this not sound like 80s fucking rock star shit, right? So I'm like, I come out of the place where the award show is. It was on 14th Street. I think I forget what's 14th Street, Manhattan. Come on, what is it? Academy? Palladium. So come out. It's fucking pouring out, okay? My wife at the time has on a purple wig. I'm like, I walk up to Park Avenue. A car sees me. He goes, Robert Tepper. I go, yeah. I go, take me and blah, blah, blah. I give him Paul Stanley's address, right? He rides us all the way up, drops me off. We're up at Paul's. I'm drinking champagne. I am fucked up, okay? We get into the limo. We head over to the Hard Rock. We open the door. Fucking, it's like, okay? And all of a sudden, I hear the guy who gave me the ride uptown go, hey, Robert, can you get me in? I say, of course I can get you in. The kid breaks the line. They try to stop him. I start throwing a punch at the security. Cameras are going off.
Jersey in you.
Paul Stanley runs like the bitch he is. He like didn't want to have anything to do with me. He was like, who is this stupid ass? I'm kidding. He's not a bitch. I don't know him that well. But we were hanging out a little bit, So that's my story. I'm in the front. I'm on the Post the next day. Rocky Singer swings and fucking. So that's my Paul Stanley. That was it. He never talked to me.
And that was a party. That was a party up at the Hard Rock on 57th.
Right on 57th Street.
And where was the party? Upstairs.
The party was right. Well, it was upstairs. Paul Schaefer's band was in there. They were playing. I think they pretty much rented out the whole joint for them for the night. And I got the guy in eventually. I got him in.
I don't know if you remember, but in the mid '80s, Jerry Garcia did a run of shows over at the Lumpfontaine Theater, and I remember. Yeah, I worked those shows, and then Halloween was the last show, and then afterwards we wound up having our after party over at the Hard Rock. It was
right. It was great. Right. It was upstairs, downstairs. It was very cool.
Right.
But yeah, that was my pulse. I kind of blew that with my insanity. I got a little crazy.
Yeah. Going back to Soundgarden.
Yes.
I mean, this is James' band, man. James loves Soundgarden. Big Soundgarden guy. I always kind of saw Soundgarden more as an Alice in Chains, Screaming Trees type of band, as opposed to Nirvana and Pearl Jam.
Absolutely. Yeah, I agree. I agree. Alice in Chains. It was like I saw Alice in Chains at the Garden, and as a matter of fact, I just got their new record. Have you heard the Alice in Chains' new record?
Yeah.
The new singer's pretty good.
Right? It's good, right?
Really good.
It sounds amazing. Whoever
I saw Alice in Chains at Maxwell's in Hoboken.
Wow, Maxwell's, where my kids used to hang out. Okay?
Right when Facelift first came out.
Oh my God, my kid Dinosaur Jr. All that I could put him on the phone. They used to stand there for like hours. Nirvana, they saw everybody there. This is crazy. We're walking down memory lane. It's all over. We're all gonna die anyway. Okay, let's keep talking.
We're gonna be just fine.
You think so?
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah, I think we're gonna be fine.
I love it.
Going down. I'm feeling pretty optimistic these days. You know what song I always kind of liked? Sean, do you remember the song Face Pollution?
Unbelievable.
What was that?
A great song.
Bad Motorfinger.
Yeah,
that Motorfinger is start to finish an amazing record. It's incredibly heavy. The next record was like the poppier record where there was, Black Hole Sun became mainstream. But Bad Motorfinger is so good. Face Pollution has that crazy time signature. There's horns in it. And out of nowhere, Chris just starts screaming Face Pollution like he owes God money. And it's amazing.
If that song was ever covered, I would love to hear Sebastian Bach do that song. I can hear him.
Sebastian Bach, he's still around.
I can remember driving up and down Broadway in Bayonne and my 86 Camry blasting Outshined when it first came out.
Great song.
To the point where I literally blew my speakers out. Blew my speakers out in front of Piero's music.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, my God. You guys, Bayonne guys.
I'm telling you.
Well, here's what's interesting when you bring up like his voice, because his voice is hard to do. The Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, they were up for it again, and whatever. I don't care. I mean, that place.
Oh, they're getting in. Don't worry about it.
But my suggestion is the only way they could play live, I think the only person they should ask would be Ann Wilson of Heart. I think would be perfect. They were friends.
Yeah, but she's not
a great job.
Now, I don't agree with that.
Right. She's not the right mentality.
You're absolutely right. But I'll tell you one thing. There's one person that you may not have heard of, but he's unbelievable. His name is Richie Cotson.
You love this guy, Sean.
Now, I love Richie Cotson because number one, he was in Poison. Number two, he was in Mr. Big. But he's put out a solo album every year for like 12 years. And the guy literally sounds like Chris Cornell.
Wow.
He's in a band called the Winery Dogs with Billy Sheehan and Mike Portnoy from Dream Theater.
Three songs she could do. She could do Black Hole Sun. She would do an amazing job with Outshine. She would crush it, just insane. And The Day I Tried to Live, come on, done. I'm dropping the mic for her right now.
I mean, James, the quintessential like Chris Cornell vocal is Fell on Black Days.
Amazing.
That is like I don't know if anyone can cover that.
No, try.
That guy means so much to me. When he died, this is what's crazy. I didn't get any sleep that night, and people were checking in on me and like, "Hey, man, are you okay?"
Yeah.
From in a while, Reese Waters had moved to DC, hadn't seen him. "Hey, buddy, you okay?" Now, my grandma who raised me died 3 months before. Didn't hear shit from anyone. And Reese's dad, his actual dad, died like the week before, and he's fucking checking on me. "Hey, man, are you okay?"
Wow.
But that's how much people knew I loved Soundgarden and Chris Cornell, and it's all I listened to for 3 weeks. And this girl I was seeing had no idea, because she might be a little younger than me, and was like, "What is this old people music? Fucking good music, miss." And
isn't it funny? Like, that's old people music? I don't think so.
Not old people. I got to ask you this, James. Did you also love Audio Slave?
Yes, I was not as full on. That first record's pretty great. That second record, I'm gonna tell you this. Like a Stone is amazing. And I Am the Highway. I listened to the acoustic version of that 3 weeks straight, basically. I mean, I listened to nothing but Chris and Soundgarden, but I listened to that version probably 150 times. I love that so much. If you play music, I mean, I have a funeral list of songs, but that song has to be played. I love it. It's just too amazing.
So, can I ask you a question?
Yeah, man.
Let me ask you a question. So what's happening? What's the comedy scene like in Vegas now? What are you hearing there in terms of like, are you going to be starting to do like, what's the approach now?
I think there's a show starting maybe this weekend, and then
Really?
definitely, phase 2 casinos are opening. I was just telling the guys off, Mike. I think there's probably going to be more shows out here than usual because nothing else can open. So we'll see. I might stay out here. You never know, because I go where the work is. I mean, this is
When
who
you
I
say
am.
you're out there, where are you in? Are you in New York or LA right now?
So I'm in Vegas right now. So I'm originally from Vegas. I live in Bay Ridge. I still got an apartment there. I hope there's no squatters in there because eventually I have to. I came here with like half a week's of clothes and my instruments and some shit there. It'd be nice to get that back, but whatever. But yeah, I'm out here because
there's what's such a shame is because I know there's such a ton. Like my 20-year-old goes to like heavy metal concerts in Vegas. Vegas is like a great venue for music, man. It's like they have so many clubs there, you know.
The Joint, which is great. I don't know what they're going to do with that casino now. The Hard Rock might be getting it back. Planet Hollywood is as good a venue as you're ever going to find there. Back in the day, we used to have this theater. It was a former movie theater, and it was the Huntridge Theater. It was the greatest place to see concert. It was small. I saw the Chili Peppers when we shot.
Oh, God, that's so great.
I've seen too many. I saw the Boys for $2 goddamn dollars at that show.
$2. Can I
$2.
I was just out there last year and I saw Lady Gaga at the Park MGM.
That's what I'm saying. It's like it's so great when you live in LA. You just want to go see a show, and you're there like in a sec. You know, it's very cool.
I don't know about LA or Vegas, but in New York, I'm really hearing more and more about the fall where things are going to start to shoot. I got a partner movie. I think
hold on, my little. Oh, what'd you make? What'd you get me? Okay. Wow, thank you, honey. I'm doing my interview.
It's from the girls.
Say hi. Say hi.
Hi. Hey.
It's from the girls from the bakery.
The girls from the bakery.
Happy early birthday.
This is my little guy. This is Leo. He's killer.
Hey, Leo.
Watch out.
Is he a musician?
No, he's an athlete, man. He wouldn't waste his time. He knows where the money is.
He ain't gonna waste his
time. No, everybody else is.
What does he play? What's the sport?
He is a monster soccer player. He's really good at baseball and getting better and better every day. But everything's on hold right now. He was playing like league soccer. He was traveling. We were traveling all over the place. Here, you tell him.
I was on an all-star team in soccer.
He was on the all-star team.
And
tell
then
him.
cool. I think we're gonna do club soccer.
Club soccer, which is like a big deal here.
Sure.
All right, Leo.
Okay.
Thank you so much.
We're hearing now that Broadway in New York City is going to be reopening in January.
Wow.
And
give me a break.
And from what I hear from people is that a lot of the clubs won't go full capacity until then. So,
let's see. I think I want to go sit in a theater with the highest group that's dying. Like they go from old folks' homes to the theater and watch Broadway. Let me go sit in a theater with those people. Well, I can hardly wait.
With
Broadway, how much do I have to pay?
Broadway can't operate unless they have full houses. It just doesn't make sense economically.
It doesn't make sense, right?
Right.
It doesn't.
But concert venues, comedy clubs, they're going to be able to open up sooner. We're going to be able to start shooting projects sooner. I think before.
Are you in a movie? Did you say you're in a movie?
Yeah.
Did I hear? What movie in?
Well, right now I have a couple of them. I have a movie coming out this year. It was supposed to come out this year called Hungry Saints. I was in The Irishman last year, and
what'd you do in The Irishman? I probably fell asleep when you were on. Go ahead.
Oh, come on, man.
he's on the 9. He's on the 9-hour mark.
Well, at the 7-hour mark, there's I'm getting yelled at by Al Pacino because I fucked up.
That's right.
That's so cool. That's great, man.
Yeah.
And
how was Pacino? Was Pacino fun to work with?
I'm sorry?
How was Pacino? Was he fun?
It was great. Are you kidding me? You know what? He's I think a Jersey guy.
You think so?
And he's also like downtime, nothing but wanting to talk. And I had to go to rehearsals with this guy. I mean, he was fantastic to hang out.
He was awesome. That's so cool.
De Niro was more of a cerebral guy, very, very quiet.
Right.
I was also in a movie 2 years ago called Gone for the Weekend, where my character's name was called Chris Tits.
I think I saw that one. I'm almost positive I did.
But yeah, I
Good
think
Lord.
we're gonna start to open up and loosen up a little bit here.
Yeah, we have to, man.
I'm
We
just
have
worried
to.
about, especially for comedy, if they're opening up at 25 or even 50% capacity, is the money going to be the same way?
It can't be. Look, I hate to be a doomsdayer, man. But first of all, we don't know what the fuck this thing is yet. And it's on the rise everywhere. And if it comes back around to New York, it's, there are no clear examples of how this is going to work unless people really just don't give a fuck and they don't care if they die and they're just going to walk into clubs no matter what. And I don't think that's going to happen. It's going to take 2 or 3 years. It's going to take some kind of, we're going to have to take some kind of shot that we're going to be immune for a while, but it's never going to go fully away. And I'm telling you, we are going to live differently from this point on. This is fucked up.
What do you guys think? Are we going to live differently?
I think it's going to be very different. Now, here's a question for Robert.
Let me hear.
So they had the first concert in Arkansas, okay, that was booked post-COVID.
Yeah.
1,200 seat theater. They sold 220 tickets.
Exactly.
Spaced out. How do you feel as a performer wanting to do a show like that?
Not going to happen. First of all, nobody's even talking to me at my house because I am the portrayer of pure doom. Okay. Explain to me how people, we can't even go down this road because you guys are not going to believe where I'm at with this. I can't get into this with you because if you're going to show this, people will start sending me hate letters. Okay. And you're going to show this somewhere, right? You're going to have it on your show. So let's talk about something else. There's no way I'm walking into a theater right now. I wouldn't do that to people. I care about people more than wanting to put them in a position where they could possibly die just to hear no easy way out, So I could, it's just not right,
What about these outdoor shows that seem to be kind of like
well, it was kind of cool what's his name did, the country artist, he showed up at a drive-in theater.
I saw that too. It was Keith Urban.
Keith Urban did it. He's on YouTube like every 10 seconds. That guy, he just released a new record, right?
Yeah, he did.
This is fun. I feel like I'm shooting the shit. Go ahead. Whose turn is it?
Well, that's how we keep the show. I want to talk about the last album, Better Than the Rest. Now, do you write when you're writing your songs? Do you have a lot of collaborations with people, or do you come in with the demos yourself?
For me, I'm first and foremost a writer. Okay, I write a lot. Okay, and but the whole idea of this was that Pablo and I were going to do it. Okay, you know who Pablo is? The guy who I did this record with.
Right.
I put out in 2007. I did an acoustic record that got me to Spain, England, a couple of places, and a guy who was in my band was Pablo Padilla. And Pablo came to America, was in school. We kept in touch. He said, Roberto, por favor, necesitamos, we need to do a new record, And I said, okay, so, and I haven't wanted to do it because I didn't know how I could do it in a way that was like really fresh, So when we sat down, the writing was the easiest part, man. It was very organic. But you have to realize I've been writing songs since the electric light bulb was invented, and that's what I do, So
can I run by my favorite lyric that I ever wrote? This is my favorite lyric that I ever wrote. I want to get it from a professional's point of view. I want a professional's point of view. All right, here it goes. Your dirty writing's on the wall, that you're riding for a fall with no hope to rise. Two-faced angel fell from grace, and now she's saving face with desperation eyes.
Good lyric.
That's pretty cool.
Yo,
I like it.
He basically told me it sucks. That's okay. I'm totally fine with that. I wrote it 20 years ago. It's totally fine.
I didn't say it sucks, but it's a very 80s type of lyric.
That's when I wrote it.
Right. It's a very 80s type of lyric. I'd have to hear the music to go with it. You know what I mean? Like what are you saying emotionally? It's like, it's got great visuals. I mean, it's a fine lyric. You know, is it the best thing I ever heard? How connected are you to it? You know what I mean?
I hated the song, but it was the best lyric I ever wrote.
Okay,
sucks at all. I think it's good.
Yeah,
there you go.
we'll play
I'm
some
giving you my
demos.
best
We'll
here.
play some demos on another episode.
You play it on the next episode. We're going to have him play the music to that lyric that we're not really sure what it is yet, but we're going to find out next week. Good for you. It's good. I like
Billy Blaze from Night Shift.
I mean, are we about to cut off? Are we about to cut off somebody's head while we're listening to that song? What is
Pretty much, yeah. Pretty much.
I should have wound up being on the next Game of Thrones soundtrack.
Yeah, why not?
That would work.
Why not?
That's what it sounds like to me. Hey, what got you guys into music?
Me?
Yeah, both of you and James.
Okay, I'm living in the best time. First of all, I have some musicality. You know what I mean? I can sing, I can hear melody, and I'm young, and I'm like coming home every day, and I'm watching $1 million movie, and I'm watching Yankee Doodle Dandy, and I'm listening to music, and I love music, and all of a sudden somebody plays me Elvis Presley, and I go, holy shit, what the fuck is this? Right? And then the Beatles, the Stones, and I grew up in Rome, you know? So I was very inspired, man. Very inspired.
Did through music, did you ever hook up with anyone famous?
Did I ever hook up, you mean romantically?
Yeah, because you're back in the day.
Oh, he ain't gonna say it in front of his family, bro. What are you setting him up? What are you doing, man?
Shut up,
be doing that shit.
Something on him.
Let me think. I can't talk about that.
Yeah, the kid gonna get 5 balls to his kid in the back. You do this shit to him?
I guarantee you she's not listening, Robert.
No, she's probably dead.
Didn't you go to the store to pick up donuts or something? You go to the bakery. Come on, it's between us.
No,
it's the boys
Look,
in the room.
You got to remember, you know, we came up at a very interesting time, man. It's like you guys are young. You guys are young. What are you in your 40s?
Well,
I'm 40. I'm 43.
Sure.
I'm 22.
My 50s.
Right. That's what I'm saying. It's like you're Soundgarden, Pearl Jam. I'm fucking the Kinks, the Beatles, the Stones. These people changed my life. You don't understand. It wasn't just music. It was like, you know, you could say thank you after I say this, but it's like they changed everything. The way it all went, you know. They really
if you could
did.
pick one band, if you could pick one band, who would it be?
It'd have to be the Stones.
Okay.
They would. Stones and Beatles, you know, one guy wore white, one guy's hat was black, and it was like, yeah, that was the template, you know.
Awesome.
That was the template.
Man, I go with the Ruddles. I go Ray off the board. I pick the
Yeah,
Ruddles.
but then,
That's my man.
that's because you see everything is funny. This wasn't funny. This was serious shit, man.
James, what got you into music?
Man, so my grandparents raised me, and I didn't have many friends for most of my life. And so I would just lock myself in my room and run around pretending I'm in music videos. And then I got friends, and then I got in a fight in 8th grade, and I lost them again. And the oldest friend I have, I always tell people this, is music. Music has never sold me out. If I'm depressed, if I go out, when we used to be able to do that, and I drink and come home alone and my heart's broken, yo, Tori Amos, she's there for me, man. All that shit is always there for me, and it's the best.
Guess who sang on my second record?
Tori Amos.
That's right.
Even in your comedy, James, you incorporate a lot of pop culture references, but especially a lot of music references.
Absolutely.
I think part of my influence, man, when people ask me, I don't like just being influenced by what you're doing. So like Richard Pryor's my one, but like the wrestler Dusty Rhodes is two. The Beastie Boys are like my third influence. The Sopranos and their pop culture references. Like the Beastie Boys did nothing but pop culture references. Those records, you go back and try and learn the things they talked about. So that was like in my DNA. So there's
like
no.
Castle Fries only come in one size.
Did you see the documentary, the Beastie Boy documentary on Netflix?
I was there. I was at the filming of it. It was
You
wild.
were?
Yeah, man.
It was cool,
crazy.
right?
Yeah, it was enjoyable. I kind of wish, though, after seeing it live and seeing it filmed, I kind of would like just a full documentary without them on stage doing lines. They had one on MTV back in the day called Bestiography. You can still find it on YouTube, and it's great, but it just stops right at Hello Nasty. But if you did it in that vein, but with everything else, it'd be the greatest thing ever. I mean, they're on my short list with Soundgarden. They're like religion to me. They're like one of my favorites. They meant so much to me.
Did you ever get a chance to see him?
So I'm at the Huntrich for 2 Bones in Vegas. Lollapalooza '94 opening day.
I was at that one.
This lineup, people sleep on it. Barely anyone was there in Vegas. It was hotter than a pepper sprout. It was from the headliner up. It went. The last band was Pumpkins. It was Pumpkins, Beasties, George Clinton, L7, Tribe Called Quest, Nick Cave in the fucking Bad Seed.
I love Nick Cave.
Yeah, on the second stage. The second stage was the Verve and the Flaming Lips.
I love the Flaming Lips.
Great band.
Got out at Randall's Island.
Yeah, great venue.
Yeah. And I saw the Beastie Boys right before the release of the first album. They played the Ritz.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Which became Webster Hall, right?
Yeah.
Yes. It became Webster Hall. Did we lose somebody? There. Okay.
I'm here. I'm drinking coffee. I'm drinking my coffee.
Yeah. Well, coffee does that to you.
Coffee.
Yeah.
Oh boy.
This show.
This is a good one.
Dropping my papers.
This is a good one.
I'm here.
Jay,
Well,
what did you do warm up for? You said you did warm up.
Man, I done a few. I did like The Break with Michelle Wolf. Crowd Goes Wild. I did.
Man, I love Michelle Wolf.
She's great. I did all.
How was Michelle Wolf?
I did Bring the Funny. Awesome cast. She's the best, man. We worked together in Vegas and didn't know till years later. She used to work at Margaritaville when I worked at Margaritaville. Had no idea.
Can I ask you, is she hot?
I mean, she's my friend, man. I ain't gonna say like she's a very wonderful, attractive person who she's beautiful, great person. Yeah. I mean, come on, man. I ain't gonna be like, yo, dog. Yo, my old boss.
She's cute. She's cute, man. She is really cute with that little French poodle hair.
I love quarantine sometimes, and this is one of those times. Sometimes I get real depressed, like 23 hours of the day. But right now, I'm like, keep everything closed. Fuck Broadway. Fuck a career. I'll find money somewhere else. Who cares? This is
we'll be selling our blood in a year. Are you kidding?
Baby, I'm gonna sell it tonight.
Next year at this time, if we all agree to do this show again, I'm telling you, we're gonna all be in such a better place. Believe me.
Well, that ain't hard. We're in the fucking toilet right now.
Listen to our leaders. We're on the way out. Everything.
You're delusional. Are you kidding me? It's on the rise in 27 states right now. Go take a steam bath with like 800 people next year. That's what it's like. I
keep forgetting. You live in LA County, right?
I do.
Yeah, you guys are going to be on lockdown forever. It doesn't make a difference.
Well, that's right.
Yeah,
we're gonna drive our little solar cars right to Starbucks and home. That's it.
What do the people think about that mayor out there? Is there kind of a backlash?
We are very lucky, man. We got a great governor. We got a great mayor. We do. We really do. They did a good job of being rational. Okay, just being human. It's hard these days. It's hard.
Yeah. I mean, you see stuff going on here today. There was a bunch of different protests about opening up the city, about loosening restrictions, about trying to get restrictions, to start to get into phase one a little faster here. We're not even in phase one in New York City yet.
And you know what? I got a T-shirt. I want to do COVID T-shirts. Like your liberty is killing me. Shit like that. What do you think? Any good?
Yeah, I'd buy one.
Yeah, they already announced there's 1,000 salon owners in New Jersey that are breaking the lockdown and they're going to open no matter what.
Woo!
1,000.
That's what Ben Franklin thought about, man. 1776, dog. Salons.
James, Ben Franklin was not a fan of democracy.
No, he wasn't. He liked hookers.
Big fan of hookers. Thank you, my friend.
Yes.
Thank you.
No, he really didn't have any regard for the common people. He didn't think that they'd be smart enough to make good decisions. Him and Alexander Hamilton both thought the same way, and so did Plato and Socrates.
Well, they might not be wrong, everybody. I don't know. Yo, do you ever watch like Revenge of the Sith and then listen to that end speech and go, boy, Anakin's really onto something?
Never. I don't watch Star Wars.
It's great.
I don't watch Star Wars.
How dare you?
Wow.
Oh, he's back. Here he is.
I'm here. I'm here.
All right, you went black for a second there.
So promise me one thing, Robert. When I come out to LA next year, we go to the Saddle Ranch on Sunset and we have burgers and cotton candy together.
That sounds. I don't eat cotton candy, but I'll eat a good burger any day of the week.
Yo, I'll go out there and we'll go to Musso and Frank's, like real
Oh,
gentlemen.
now there you go. There you go.
What pussyfoot boys? 21st century.
Listen, I'm telling you right now.
We go there and have a side of beef.
I'm born and raised in New Jersey my entire life. I've eaten pizza in New Jersey my entire life. I've eaten pizza in New York City my entire life. And there's no better pizza in the world than at the Rainbow on Sunset
Rainbow's
Strip.
pretty good.
The
Rainbow's pretty
pizza
good.
is the best pizza I've ever had in my life.
So when you're in LA,
absolutely.
which
His
is the
food's
go-to
good
place
here.
first? In-N-Out Burger or Pink's?
Who, me?
For me,
Either one. It's open for everybody.
In and out.
Yeah, you gotta go in and out because I mean, Pink's you can get in Vegas now.
Closed in Vegas. Closed.
Oh, they closed it.
Closed.
they closed the Pinks.
Yeah, at the Planet Hollywood.
See, I have my certain spots that I go to in LA all the time. So I always go to the Rainbow. I go to the Saddle Ranch. There's a great bar called the Roger Room that I
Where's
love.
the Roger Room? What's that?
You gotta look it up. It's like an old school 50s style speakeasy where like the bartenders are actually mixologists and they make you really fancy drinks with the big circular ice cubes. Really
Wow.
fancy place. And then I slum it a little bit.
Yo, what about the Burgundy Room? The Burgundy Room is the great Ashes poured Burgundy Room. Friday night there, just playing nothing but old like sweet Mata Hoople, all this good ass shit. They played The Faces, Stay With Me. I almost got 3 wives. So I was just screaming. It was the greatest place in the world.
That's awesome.
Rod had some balls, baby.
LA's great.
I love it. My favorite place in the world.
Well, you know what? It's just it's like, we're a bunch of latte loving fucking electric car driving idiots, but on the bigger picture, there is somewhat of an awareness of what's going on and a semblance of sanity, unlike certain places. New York's doing good. My kid's going back there like in a week, going back to the city.
God bless him. He ain't gonna be doing much. I'll tell you that.
No.
Yeah, there might be an empty apartment he can stay in.
In Bay Ridge.
There's probably like 6 other people.
In Bay Ridge. You're looking for a sublet.
With faulty plumbing.
Hopefully they fix that shit. My goodness.
They'll get it under control for you.
All right, guys. So when's this going to be on?
It'll be live. It'll be up tomorrow, and I'll send it to you on Facebook, so that way you can post it yourself too.
So how do you know that? What's his name? Mike? Is it Mike?
Yes, Mike Masiello.
So tell me about Mike. He seems like a cool guy.
He's a great dude. He's a fan of my comedy. He became a friend of mine, and he was like, "Listen, I would love to help you get some people on the show." And I'm like, "All right, give me some names." He goes, "Do you want to have Robert Tepper?" And I go,
Ooh.
"Fuck yeah, I want Robert Tepper on a goddamn show." Because I do a live feed every night, and Rocky IV seems to come up every single night on the live feed. So when
that's so cool.
to me, I was like,
you,
"Look,
man.
we got to get him on." So a big thank you to Mike Masiello.
Yeah, say hi to Mike when you see him, man.
Absolutely.
It seems like a good Italian family. The food, he showed me the table of food, took a picture. My God, one dinner you could eat for a month.
That's how we do it. That's how we do it as Italians.
All right, gentlemen, thank you so much for having me.
Thank you, guys.
Thank
you for sharing the stage with my brother from another mother in Vegas.
What up, baby? A pleasure, sir. Absolute pleasure.
And let's all stay healthy
you.
and happy. And do me a favor, man. Just don't go to any bars and eat French fries. Don't do that. Like right next to somebody. Don't breathe on anybody.
No, we're good. We're good. Well, this is a great episode of Who's Your Band. Thank you, Robert. Thank you, James, for coming on. And we will see you all next week.
All right, guys. Thank you, man.
Bye.
Adios.